Here's our April 26, 2022 edition of Spy Movie News. Hi, this is Dan Silvestri from SpyMovieNavigator.com and our show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. Today, we'll get some updates on upcoming spy movies, James Bond birthday fun, the Slow Horses Wind Machine, a Spy Kids reboot, more award news, and new and old spy movies coming to streaming services. We'll start by looking at the May 2022 spy movie releases, and unfortunately, the pickings are slim for us spy movie fans. Theatrical releases. The two big cinema releases expected in May don't hit the U.S. theaters until Memorial Day weekend, May 27th. Unfortunately, neither of them is a spy movie. They are Top Gun Maverick and the Bob's Burgers movie. So, the cinema is not the place to go to find movies in May, at least here in the U.S. The only movie we were hoping for in the theaters is The Duke, which we've talked about before. It's been released in some countries and is in a limited release in the U.S. Unfortunately for us here at Spy Movie Navigator, who hail from Chicago, the Chicago market isn't included in the group of limited release locations. Streaming new releases. Netflix, Operation Mincemeat, one movie that will be released on Netflix in May, has had a theatrical release in some countries, and we've been waiting for this one. Operation Mincemeat was released by Warner Brothers on April 22nd, 2022, but not everywhere. Netflix will release this movie on May 11, 2022 in the US, Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico. We haven't seen if Netflix is planning a theatrical release in the US. They had a theatrical release for Red Notice, so we were hoping to see this one on the big screen too. Operation Mincemeat is based on a real World War II operation by British intelligence to fake out the Germans by using a corpse and fake documents. Using a dead person to fake out adversaries has been a plot point in numerous spy movies, including the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice. These plots were based in part on the real Operation Mincemeat. Amazon Prime, James Bond movies. Well, we know the Amazon deal went through for MGM, so in May, Amazon Prime is releasing for Prime customers the following James Bond movies: Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Live and Let Die, Never Say Never Again, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Octopussy. You can also stream You Only Live Twice and see if you can catch the Operation Mincemeat connection. AMC Plus, The Ipcris File. The Ipcris File series finally comes out on AMC Plus in May 2022 here in the US. This is the series that debuted on ITV in the UK at the beginning of March. We've released 3 podcasts on the Ipcris File series when ITV had their release, including an interview with the executive producer, Steven Saltzman. So check those out. IMDb TV, soon to be Amazon Freevee. Tropo. This 8-part TV series is about an ex-cop who is falsely accused of a crime who has to deal with an investigation agency. This debuted in Australia on ABC and hits IMDb TV on May 20th, 2022. Hulu. Hot Fuzz. Although it's not a spy movie, this 2007 movie is a cop comedy starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and the James Bond of the past, Timothy Dalton. All right, it's a fun watch. Already released spy entertainment. Slow Horses. Apple released its spy series Slow Horses at the beginning of April 2022, starring Gary Oldman, Jack Lowden, and Kristen Scott Thomas. This series is about Slough House, which is where MI5 dumps its agents who have messed up. If you need a good laugh, check out the Mike Ray's interview of Oldman and Loudon on cinemablend.com. They have a very serious discussion, quote unquote, of the role of flatulence in Oldman's character, Jackson Lamb. In the interview, Oldman tries to keep his answers serious, but Loudon and Reyes won't let it stay that way. Check that one out. It's good. The last time we saw a discussion about flatulence in the movies was a description of why the characters in The Usual Suspects were laughing during the lineup scene. That time it wasn't planned flatulence. All right. You can find more on that one on ScreenRant.com. Upcoming spy entertainment news. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Amazon has signed Maya Erskine and Donald Glover for its upcoming series, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This series is based on the movie that starred Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Originally, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was to play the role that Erskine now has, but left the project last year. Spy Kids. Netflix will reboot the Spy Kids franchise. Although the movie doesn't have a title or date yet, we know that Robert Rodriguez will write and direct this. He was the creator of the original series. We're glad to see this, as the original Spy Kids movies were a hit, and it's great to see movies to help excite kids about spy movies. Agent Hamilton. So here's another reboot. An article on Variety.com tells us that Agent Hamilton New Missions has obtained territory deals in the U.S. and Northern Europe. New Missions is based on the series Agent Hamilton. We don't have all the details on the casting or release schedule yet. Face Off 2. Okay, we don't know much about Face Off 2 other than we've seen some things that say it is happening, with Adam Wingard as the director. We've also told you that Nicolas Cage has said that he hasn't been asked to do it. Well, we have an update on this. According to an article in comicbook.com, something might be happening here. He's quoted as saying, "There have been some phone calls with Neil Moritz, who I enjoyed very much working with on the first Face Off," Cage said. "He's somebody. He's one of the true great producers in Hollywood, and they've been making some calls," unquote. We think this would be fun to see Cage in the sequel. Well, maybe it's just a bit of hype coming off the current Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. But Pedro Pascal, who is in that movie with Cage, says that he would love to reunite with Cage in Face Off 2. With how well Pascal played Whiskey in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, we think this would be a fun pairing to see. It's Arnold and Monica. An untitled Netflix spy series has been cast with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Monica Barbaro as the leads. The rest of the cast has been announced and looks very solid. The limited plot we've seen almost makes the series sound a bit like Mr. and Mrs. Smith meets True Lies. According to Variety.com, a father and daughter have each been working as CIA operatives. Neither of them knows that the other is a spy as well. The Old Man. FX will premiere its new series, The Old Man, on June 16, 2022. This one should be good. It stars Jeff Bridges as a former CIA agent. John Lithgow is one of the adversaries. The supporting cast looks strong with this one as well. Pathan. Okay, on to Bollywood. Well, after a 4-year hiatus, Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan will be back as one of the stars in the January 2023 spy thriller Pathan. Shah Rukh Khan will be starring with Deepika Padukone and John Abraham in this spy movie, which will be released in Hindi, Tamil, and Telugu. We're hoping there's an English subtitle version released as well. Here's some industry news. In October, we released a podcast episode where we discussed the viewing experience of watching No Time to Die in different theatrical formats. We talked about the differences experiencing it on standard screen, Dolby Cinema, IMAX, 4DX, and 3D. We especially liked the Dolby Cinema experience. One of the reasons for that is the quality of the image that the laser projector can produce. AMC has been using laser projectors in Dolby Cinema at AMC, Prime at AMC, and some IMAX and AMC theaters. Well, AMC is upping their game here. According to an article on Deadline.com, AMC will be installing laser projectors at 3,500 U.S. auditoriums through 2026. This is a welcome trend, as the image is an improvement at handling darkness and contrast over previous projection. James Bond news. Have to have some of that. For a movie franchise that is likely still years away from its next release, James Bond keeps itself in the news. More awards for Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli. You can add another award to Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli's shelves. This September, they will receive the 2022 Pioneer of the Year Award from the Will Rogers Motion Picture Pioneers Foundation. The award will be given during the Foundation's gala to support the Pioneers Assistance Fund. The award is given to those with exemplary career achievements and a commitment to excellence. Congratulations. You can read more about this on Deadline.com. Bond Birthday Fun. Mike Reyes has an article on cinemablend.com that gives away an Easter egg or two from a 007 Instagram post which shows Bond's passport from Casino Royale. A few fun things pop out here. First, it shows Bond as being born on April 13th. April 13th was the date that Ian Fleming's first novel, Casino Royale, was published. Second, Bond's birth year is listed as 1968. That happens to be the year that Daniel Craig was born. Okay, now here's where it really gets fun. Daniel Craig was born on March 2nd, the same date that the first James Bond movie, Dr. No, came out. Numbers and dates. You can have fun with them, and Eon did. Will dates play into who gets cast next as James Bond? Let the speculation begin. He's more comfortable naked than with his clothes on. In an interview with The Guardian, Jason Isaacs had this to say about why Daniel Craig was a great James Bond casting. Quote, Daniel was cast just after we'd done a play together. He's one of the only people on the planet who is more comfortable naked than with clothes on, which is why he has been and will be the perfect Bond for a long time to come, unquote. All right, well said. Chastity has no place in Bond movies. In an article on Variety.com, director Paul Verhoeven complains about the lack of sex scenes in recent James Bond movies. Quote, there was always sex in Bond, unquote, Verhoeven said. They did not show a breast or whatever, but they had some sex. Given that he's often talked about the importance of sex and his directing resume, we are not surprised he thinks this way, and we think he has a point. If you don't know Paul's work, he directed Benedetta, Basic Instinct, and Showgirls, among others. Sex was very important in those movies. Please bring back some of the sexual situations in Bond movies going forward, Eon. That's who Bond is. Upcoming James Bond location tours. There are two big upcoming James Bond location tours that we know about. Neither of them is affiliated with Eon, MGM, or Danjak. Also, as of press time, Spy Movie Navigator has no affiliation with either of these tours either. However, we know the people involved and know they've done good tours in the past. June 14th to the 17th, Back to the Bahamas. On the Tracks of 007.com is hosting the Back to the Bahamas tour, where 7 James Bond movies have been partially filmed. VIP guests will include Luciana Paluzzi, Martine Beswick, Diane Hartford, and King Arison, all of whom a Bond fan should know. You can find out more about this tour on the website on the Tracks of 007.com. Tell Martin Spy Movie Navigator sent ya. October 8th through the 16th, Own the Club Deux. The BondFanEvents.com trip will bring you to Jamaica to celebrate filming locations for No Time to Die, Dr. No, and Live and Let Die. And, oh yeah, you'll see GoldenEye, where Ian Fleming wrote the novels. Check out BondFanEvents.com for details of the trip. The event is called 2022 Own the Club Deux, Jamaica. Tell Matt Sherman we sent ya. In memoriam, Nehemiah Persoff. Character actor Nehemiah Persoff has passed away at the age of 102. Many of his 207 credits are for character roles in TV series. TV spy fans may remember Persoff from I Spy, The Third Man, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Wild Wild West, Mission Impossible, Francis Gary Powers, The True Story of the U-2 Spy Incident, and the movie Mrs. Polifex Spy. Henry Patterson. Henry Patterson, the novelist who wrote under the pseudonym Jack Higgins, passed away at the age of 92. He was known for thrillers, crime novels, and spy stories. His works were turned into 4 theatrical movies and 7 television movies or series. His novel, The Eagle Has Landed, was his first big success, selling more than 50 million copies, and was made into a movie starring Michael Caine, Donald Sutherland, and Robert Duvall. David M. Jones. Visual effects artist David M. Jones has passed at 74. He started his career as a model maker, then moved to become a model shop supervisor. He finished his career as a visual effects supervisor. Some of the movies where you have seen his work include Star Wars, Air Force One, Outbreak, The Hunt for Red October, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and others. All right, this has been Dan Silvestri of SpyMovieNavigator.com. Subscribe to our show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies, in your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Tell your friends about us. Share info about our show on your own social media. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram too. All of the links are on our website, SpyMovieNavigator.com. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.